Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today you will learn a triad workout based on Beethoven's 7th Symphony. Now, classical music and electric guitar don't really mix very often, Yngwie Malmsteen aside, but this piece of music is A, beautiful, B, mostly triadic, meaning it uses mostly triads throughout the whole piece, and C, relatively easy to play, which makes it a great platform for a triad workout. So a student of mine recently sent me a video of Leonard Bernstein and Maximilian Schell discussing Beethoven's 7th Symphony. Specifically, Bernstein is sort of like dissing the melody a little bit. He says it's unremarkable, which it sort of is, at least the beginning part. We'll get to that when we zoom in. But the video is inspirational and the music is quite beautiful. So I put it on the fretboard and I was instantly impressed with how beautifully Beethoven uses simple triads to convey a very, very deep and rich harmonic idea. You're watching this video because you're looking for insight into discovering how the guitar actually functions. I do this work with guitar players all the time, and I do it in my online guitar academy called The Studio. The Studio is an online platform that combines community features as well as rich educational content in the form of online courses, live events, etc. I designed this experience to sort of replicate the one that I had in music school, which was much more than just taking classes, but also interacting and learning from other musicians. I found this to be formative in my success through my music education. Now, I know an online guitar academy might not be for everybody, so there's a 7-day free trial. Click on the link below, just head over there, check it out, see what you think. In 7 days, you've got time to meet a few people and perhaps even complete some of the free courses there. If you do decide to study with me, I look forward to working with you. Okay, so let's get this piece onto the fretboard for a number of reasons, not least of which is when you learn to play something beautiful, your cat, your dog, your spouse, they're all happy. Trust me, I promise they'll appreciate this. Let's zoom in and get some Beethoven under our fingers. Okay, I'll play the piece for you first all the way through, and then we'll dissect it a little bit. We're going to be using triads on the D, G, and B string for the most part. There's one part of the melody that goes up to the high E string, but almost the entire thing is on these 3 strings, just using triads, simple major and minor triads. Let me play it for you and then we'll dissect it. Really a beautiful piece of music. But notice how it's not that hard to play. In the video that I've linked in the description, Leonard Bernstein and Maximilian Schell are discussing the piece, and Bernstein says, notes how unremarkable the melody is. If you don't watch this video, let me just show you what he's referring to. In the first part of this piece of music, we go from A minor down to E, and then E7 back to A minor. But this note on the very top doesn't change. It goes like this. But when you add the harmony to it, harmony being chords, listen to how it takes on a different sort of personality. Quite crafty, really, really beautiful. Anyway, that's what he's referring to when he talks about the melody being sort of unremarkable. But let's dissect this. Let me go piece by piece, phrase by phrase, and show you what kind of triads are being used here. And we'll get the piece on the fretboard. So we open up with an A minor chord. This is an A minor triad based on your A minor bar chord. That goes down to an E triad. Now we play this triad here, which is really just the third, the flat 7, and the root of an E7 chord, but we're still in this set of 3 strings, back to A minor. So that whole part goes like this. There's your E chord, E7, back to A minor. The next part starts on A minor, but moves up to a G major triad like this. Notice how we're playing a little bit of chord melody here, right? A minor, melody, next chord G. We use that type of phrase throughout the rest of the piece. And then we go G, up to C. Now this G triad also uses this chord here as a passing chord. This is sort of a G sus-ish thing. It's really a passing chord, so we don't pay too much attention to actually what this is. We're really voice leading here. That's our C chord. Now here's where we get to that high E string, C up to B major. And there's our high melody note. Now back to these three strings, we go B minor up to A major. So let me just dissect that whole part again. G up to C. C major up to B major. B minor up to A. Then we go back to the beginning of the song again. A minor down to E, A minor, E7 up to A minor, and we finish it off. Now the tabs are going to lay this out for you, so if I've gone too fast, don't worry, you can grab those on my Patreon page. But let me show you another value that this exposes to me. So I'm going to stay on this same set of strings. I'm going to use those same chords, but I'm going to shift into a different position on the fretboard. Now this is going to change the melody because the melody note, the note on the top on that B string, which is featured throughout the piece, is going to be a different note. So the melody is going to be different, but you'll see the chord structure is basically the same. Watch this. A minor down to E, E7 back to A minor. We're just using the same chords. A minor up to G, and G up to C. C major up to B major, B minor down to A major, A minor down to E, E7 up to A minor. So I'm just using the same exact chords, and I'm just putting it in a different position on the fretboard. Obviously there's another inversion up here, A minor down to E, E7 up to A minor, right? You can do this all over the neck on any set of strings. And when you take a chord progression like this, that's mostly triadic and has a very, very simple framework, you learn a lot about the fretboard. This is very, very valuable in these two ways. One is super beautiful thing to play. Your dog and your spouse will be very, very happy when you do this. And two, it really starts to cement down all these relationships by forcing you to solve the problem of A minor to E in multiple places. All right, so now you have something beautiful to play, and you've learned something hopefully about the fretboard. Tabs for this are on my Patreon page if you need a little help getting it on the fretboard. Also, check out the link below for access to the studio. If you're interested, 7-day free trial, take a look, see what you think. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope you found it inspirational. As always, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.